no, it's not the abstract way. It's like it's not the physical way. It has to also do with the inside. So
Yeah,
we
yeah, that's what I mean.
okay. That is basically it actually. But she explained that she just wants to know things we can do to stay motivated actually, and also um um our life, what our life should be aside schooling, okay, aside schooling here in China,
Yeah,
okay.
okay, yeah.
So I'm live on YouTube probably, and hopefully I get people here, and I'm trying to connect to my television speaker, but it's not working. I'm not so sure why, but I'm not gonna waste my time on that one actually. Let me see. I think the laptop should be audible enough as well. Alright, yeah, so
So Jane, life should be about something else. No, wait, sorry, let me do that again. Life should be more than just studying, because Isha studies too much.
sorry.
Isha studies too much.
I think that's why if you just want to see this, if you just want to see this and also like get some information and all of that. So, I could probably start now in three. Are we ready?
Oh, no, no, wait.
So, you guys, good day. I'm Bernard,
Yeah,
and
then let's start.
okay, just give me a little bit, please. I'm Jenny, and I'll be going live on YouTube as well here. So, we're gonna talk about a podcast session about self grooming, and not only focusing on our studies, but also other things
Life
that matters
aside
in
from
life.
school.
Yeah.
Or like life out of school. Yeah.
Yes, in a nutshell. Okay, so I'll start recording. Oh my gosh. Oh no.
Oh, my mic just had an issue.
I can
Are you
hear
getting
you.
me clear?
Yes, yes.
Oh, okay. My mic, I didn't charge it enough, I think.
Okay.
Maybe
How
I'll
can I
start recording
record
again.
then? Oh gosh. Okay, so should I start? Because I just started and stopped.
Yeah.
We have maybe about 30 minutes, if that's gonna be enough. Let's just make it as short as
Can you
possible.
hear me? Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes, I can hear you. Okay, so in three, two, one, and start the recording. Okay, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jane, and it's been a while we have this, conversation together. Okay, because I've been having my offline conversation with people offline, and today I'm here with these beautiful people to be here on my podcast today. I'm going to give them obviously the chance to introduce themselves, starting with the handsome man online. Okay, please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Jane. ETS Halidari. Um, I've been in China almost 7 years now, and I think I was the first person to be on this podcast, and I'm very happy for that.
Yes, you
I'm
are
so happy
actually.
to keep going, and I wish that we should keep going.
Oh, thank you so much. You see, I asked you to introduce yourself, and you just started, encouraging me. I mean, this is lovely. This is amazing. So this is another person in my channel. Let me just give her a nice, welcome. All right, this
Thank
is
you.
another guest. Thank you so much, Matthias Ali Daddy. And actually, if you guys don't know, he was the first ever guest I had on my podcast. And he was like, yeah, let's do it. I was actually scared at first. I was like, how do I get people, and how do I just say something? What about the days I don't get people? And I was like, okay, let's just start and let's test run. And yeah, we are here again. So thank you so much for coming back. Coming back. All right, the second person here is Shunko. Shunko, introduce yourself, please. I don't want to do that myself, so please do that.
Yeah, so my name is Shunko. I study in Shandong Normal University, the same school as Jane.
Hmm.
And, that's where we knew each other. And that's how I got into podcast.
Oh, yes, you guys.
Yeah.
So we kind of like also have had a lot of sessions together, I guess. Yeah, a whole lot of sessions actually. So thank you so much for coming back, Shunko, and
No
always.
problem.
Mwah.
You.
So I'm happy we have two guests today because one is a businessman and the other is a student. So it's more like having it from two perspective. What's a
Yeah.
study life? I mean, the student life, and what does he have to give afterwards? So yeah, I think I'm gonna ask Shunko to please explain how she feels like a normal student. How does it feel being a normal student in China?
Um, Aside from all the rules you have to deal with, I think it's just college life. Yeah. I
Oh.
don't really have much to say about school in China because I think school in like college in other countries could be similar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like if you're doing bachelor's like me. So the difference is you just need to adjust to Chinese society and learn Chinese.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. So you just think that's like a normal student life, even in your country. Like there's no much difference, right? Do you think it's taking something away from your
I
life?
think there is a difference. So
Okay.
in Thailand,
Mm-hmm.
university students need to wear uniform.
Oh.
But China, you don't have uniform. Yeah. So I think there are slight differences. But then like the whole education system for bachelors, I think it's similar. Maybe maybe China will have more rules than in Thailand.
Mm.
That like that. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for briefing that. I'm also a student and I just started my master's program. I graduated from my bachelor's and I'm doing my master's now. So I would also agree with what Simko said about um, it being a normal student life. I don't think I'll have much of a difference even if I'm schooling in Nigeria or maybe somewhere else. I think probably it's just the student life. So now that's why this podcast comes in. How can we extend that from just being a student life, like living like a student, just not just students, and getting other things to ourselves, like self growth, how to do business, how to stay motivated even as a student, the whole stress. So yeah, thank you so much for your contribution, and I'd like to call in Mr. Hawi Daddy. What's how did you feel when you were still a student? I'm not sure if you're still studying now, but what's the difference, like the gap?
Yeah, I think being a student is always it's always really I don't know how to put it, but when you're getting to the edge of your studies, towards the finish line, like you start getting all these kind of thoughts and of how is life going to be after this. And I think coming to China, one of the things about me is pretty much I already graduated from back home, so I just came to China like to further my studies. And to be honest with you, my head wasn't even much more into studies. I was just more maybe interested in knowing the language a little bit, and then uh, uh, maybe diverting into life. But before that, I already started knowing from back home that too much of studies was actually really not the best thing for me because even all the things I was actually studying, like I was studying maybe I was studying law, I was studying law at the university, but towards the end of it, I just found out that most of the the inspiration I had about studying law earlier. It was about maybe the surrounding, and yeah, it was most influence about how we in Africa, uh, people cherish so much the public service. And while I was furthering, I started realizing I didn't have much to offer there, and I started thinking of other ways, and that's a very difficult situation because you have to switch up. You have to now start from scratch from something maybe you've never ever learned in your life,
Exactly.
and it was a little bit more intimidating. But I just had to, I just had to thank God the internet was there, and I started finding out other ways on how to switch. Yeah, it's actually a difficult one being a student and trying to look for a career, but it's even more difficult when you're trying to switch completely to something you didn't even actually study as a student.
Okay, I feel like you're saying the truth, and you're actually speaking directly to me, because my story is so different, right? Because I finished my secondary school in 2012, and I've been, in Africa, you have to write, I think in the whole world, right? You have this exam that takes you to university from your secondary school
Yeah.
to
College entrance
university.
exam.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's the word. So I've been like stressing myself over that for like 4 years, because I finished in 2012 and I started learning Chinese in 2017. So, like you said, we all wanted to go to university. But if someone had told me that, I wouldn't come, maybe, I wouldn't finish my bachelor's through university. I would never believe that. I would be like, oh, my friends are going to university. They're having,
Exactly.
they're having their black. I mean, is it black? What was the coat job called? White collar job. Yeah, that's what it's called. Is
Yeah, yeah.
it blue
White
collar or
collar
white
job
collar? Yeah.
and blue collar jobs.
Oh. So I was actually intimidated, not knowing that there are still other ways. So, like you said, if you had known that the whole law and everything, and maybe try to find yourself instead of try to go with the crowd, I don't think you'd have wasted your time, learning law and then coming back. So I think, to me, I wasted my whole 4 years at home trying to write exam upon exam upon exam, because it was hard, man. It was so hard, and I was just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
passing them. Okay, and I was still waiting until, like, I got information about how to learn Chinese and blah blah blah. So I totally understand you. As a student, we need to, I don't know, I just we need to make more research that doesn't have to be do with what everybody is doing. I'm not sure
Yeah,
if that
I
makes
also think
sense.
that one of the things was, you know, the internet now has like given people so many other options. And when we
Exactly.
were growing up, it wasn't that prevalent, even though there was a little bit of internet, but it wasn't that prevalent. But today, uh, more and more students are having many other options to start
Mhm.
having these kind of conversations with
Mhm.
themselves as early as possible.
That's right.
Because right now you see even teenagers in secondary school doing a lot of things on the internet that is unbelievable. So
Like becoming a millionaire.
yeah, you can have a say.
No, I'm 16. I just bought my first car and my first house like that.
No,
Wow,
I was
that's
no,
very good.
Like
she's
that,
giving
not
an
me.
instance.
Who?
Not me. I don't have a house. I don't have a car.
Okay, you should
But if
collect
you
I have a
have
that.
bike.
what, it's
Mhm.
it's it's very possible.
I was just giving an example of the internet.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay, so Shunko, what
Yeah.
what we just explained now, like, have you ever had the thought of probably one day you realize that what you're learning now is not what you're supposed to learn, and you have to start all over again? Do you ever think of that?
Before, yes. Now, no.
Mhm. Okay.
Um, after I finished high school, so I graduated high school in 2017. I was 17 years old.
Mhm.
You know, I'm a 2000s kid. Um, and then I thought I wanted to do languages, and then after that I changed my mind to psychology, and then I just kept like jumping from major to major. Like I wasn't in school yet, but I kept jumping.
Wow.
I was influenced by my parents, by my peers. You know, people just kept telling me, "Oh, you have to do this one. You'll get more money with this." Like, how do you know that? You don't have proof.
That's right. That's
Yeah,
right,
so
actually.
let me make my own decision. And then I spent 2.5 years at home because I just didn't know um, which university I wanted to go. I didn't know what I really wanted to do because what if I choose this and then I regret it? So I'm gonna have to change major, right? Because
Mm.
I'm gonna suffer studying what I don't want to study. That's what I thought.
Mm.
It's also it also has to do with your confidence because if you know that you want this subject, like my friend wanted to do engineering since he was in middle school, and then he did engineering, and then he graduated. He's got a job now. He doesn't care what other people tell him. So it also depends on you, like how much you believe in yourself. So yeah, I have all these thoughts because I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I didn't really understand the world around me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anybody to guide me
Mm.
because it's just naysayers, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, he said this, she said that. I can't prove anything you say, and it's so noisy. You just have to sometimes you just have to shut the world down for a
Mm-hmm.
while, think about yourself, what you wanna do, and just do it. Even if other people were to tell you after that, hey, you know, you're gonna do history as a college major, that's not okay because you know you're gonna suffer, blah blah blah. Like you have to do your own research. So if you know where you're going, then just do it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my experience. Um,
Yeah.
I have never. I'm doing economics. I have never regretted economics ever. It's hard, but then I see I have a future in this field, so I don't regret it.
Mm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
that's my experience.
So I want to add something to that. I
Okay.
think,
Yeah, what?
yeah, what Shuko is saying, I think there's also a fundamental problem to that. The issue is, most of us, we grew up in life without actually knowing earlier what
What we
we
want.
really do want.
Exactly.
You understand?
Exactly.
And again, there are two problems. The first one is you don't have the right orientation. Like people are not taught how to find a life purpose early enough. You're actually being
They're
influenced to
not
do
even
things that
defined. They're not even taught how to define a life purpose. I'm sorry. Come
exactly,
on.
exactly. So you're
Yeah.
actually being influenced on what to do that will, in fact, that like society has already set certain standards, and you kind of try, like they just try to mold you into one of these standards, and they influence you and influence you and influence you, and you take a road which probably isn't yours until you get to a point where you have to discover that no, like there's a favorite quote from someone who said sometimes success is actually very difficult because you can climb the ladder so fast, and then when you reach at the top, you discover that you are leaning on the wrong wall, and that's what many of us are facing.
Mm.
I know.
Yeah, so
We
you have
should
to be
also
actually
start telling our
careful.
children. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I'm just saying, while studying, you have to actually be very, very careful on to always take a step back and review how your studies are going to help you, whether it's really what you actually want or it's just something that people have influenced you into.
Hmm. Okay, so this is a broad one. And being a student, and like Shunko has just said, and you also added by the influence, the peer groups. I wish I was influenced because after my school, I was struggling with the exams and everything. Cause I'm smart, but I'm not book smart. I just don't like exams. They just put that way. But I saw people going to university and all of that. So if I was maybe pressured by my peers, I should be in the university. I'd probably be back home or somewhere else right now. But at that point, I definitely do not know what I want. I just knew that everyone was going to the university and I have to go to university. Okay, even if I know that okay, going to university is something, it's more like a rule. After secondary school, you have to go to university. Then
Yeah,
after
yeah.
university, then you look for work. I mean, I wish people told us earlier on that there are a lot of places or a lot of things that we can do that are better than going to university. I wish people told us in secondary school, or probably you can work even before university. It's more like a rule. So this is still a bondage that we some students are in. So how did you guys advise people, maybe people watching this or not yet in university, or thinking of starting what he or she doesn't like just because his friends or her friends are doing so? What's your take on this? Should the person stop, or what do you guys have to advise?
Can I go first?
Sure, please.
I think you should go to college so that it's easier for you to find a job in the future because
Mm-hmm.
okay, like in Thailand, I have a friend who is kind of who didn't go to college. He tried, but then like he had to drop out. And then he went again, and then he dropped out again. So right now he doesn't have a bachelor's degree, nor is he in a school. We just met yesterday. He wants to find a job, but his salary will be lower than us college graduates.
Mm-hmm.
And but the friends that went to college, graduated, like bachelors, graduated, and then found a job, had like had a higher salary on average compared to people with high school diplomas.
Mm-hmm.
This is what happens in Thailand, like according to my friends. And those who have like master's degree can bargain for more money, like in the same position.
Mm.
Yeah, so it's about the money. Like I think it's partially about the money. It's also about life experience. So um so like on average, you graduate high school when you're 18. Okay, I graduated 1 year earlier. It's okay. But then most people graduate when they're 18.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think an 18-year-old knows? Not much. Compared to us in college, not much. You're 18, you're a kid. Yeah, like I can say this right now. Like, when I was 17, I wouldn't think
Yeah.
being 18 was a
Ali,
kid.
that is laughing. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm waiting for what he has to say. Let me just chill.
Yeah. I'll be
Okay.
done like soon.
Mhm.
I mean, like, of course, you're 18, you can go find a job. Yeah, you can learn from life experience and you can like get some working experience. Yeah, but then like it's college also shapes a person. You know, when you go to college, you meet people, you you like face difficulties, you overcome them, you grow as a person. And then when you go find a job after college graduate, you may know and you will know more than just when you were 18. And so those experiences will help you when you're in the office or like working because
Mhm.
because like
He's laughing. Okay.
or working I think working life isn't even like simple.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
finished.
I'm done.
Yeah,
Yeah,
okay,
I'm
okay.
done.
So
Thank
I'm
you
done.
so much,
what
Shankar,
I
for
have
your
to say about
contribution.
Okay.
what I have to say about this is I actually understand the point from where you're coming. Yeah, and it's actually cool if you pick up that path and you're happy about it. Yeah. On the other side of it, On the other side of it, yeah, you mainly spoke about money, which is always a motivating factor to many people, why they should go get it. But on the other side of it, life experience is also very rich in a way that sometimes it contributes more than college degree. One thing which I actually agreed with you, like I could actually pick from your point about going to college is, to me, it's much more about meeting people. If you are oriented to go to college and maybe make friends with people, like look for ambitious people maybe in college, and make more friends with them, it's actually more fundamentally important to me than a degree. Like I cannot tell my junior ones not to go to school, even though I actually know that it's more or less important to actually have a degree. But what I tell them is, when you're in school, the most fundamental things you should be focusing on are practical things that can help you beyond school, and also making good use of friends and relationships you have,
Exactly.
because that's more important than a college. Like, listen, let's take this for example. Maybe you're talking about having a degree and earning more, but if it's something you're not actually passionate about, like I think if I was maybe in a law firm now, or maybe doing some legal work, I don't know how much passion I would have had about it. And even when I was working, all the jobs I've ever had, I always had it so difficult, maybe trying to work from 9 to 5, right? And the moment maybe I have an extra time, maybe I need to work on a Saturday or on a Sunday, I just feel like it's the worst thing ever that's trying to happen to me. But the time I engage into business, it's something I like. The more I explore into things, the more that I'm passionate about. Like now, I virtually work maybe Monday to Sundays. I find it so difficult to even rest on Sundays, not because I feel tired, but I just like what I'm doing. You understand? I just get up and I'm motivated to do so many things when I'm in control of that. So when it's about an college degree or going to school is much more about linear growth. You understand? Many people take it because it's safe. Like when you go to school, when you have a college degree, yeah, you're assured this salary, and if you work harder, you're going to have increments and so on. But the truth about life is, when you're exploring, like when you're exploring into your passion, it looks maybe horizontal in the beginning, but the moment you hit that part, you hit uh, the point of where your growth starts. This is how you grow. You understand? It's not like you just go and you're going in a linear path. You can take all your life exploring your passion, just maybe at the base level, but the moment you start to grow, you grow very fast. That's why business people, you find somebody, like you find a person who is into business, and maybe for 10, 20 years, they are just like Elon Musk. Let's take him for example. He was by 2019, he was worth about 20 billion. But in 3 years, he left from 20 billion to 160 billion. So that's the way people who grow, who work into their passion, they grow. It's not more about a linear path. And I think even the only people who actually work more than 5 days a week are people who are working into something they themselves have invested into, what they are passionate about. Because you don't just even see it as a work. You don't even see it as a job. You just see it as part of your life. And it's much more exciting.
But wait,
I think if somebody is ready yeah, if you're actually committed to liking security, to going where the money is and where assurances are, yeah, it's also cool. But you have to always rethink if that's actually, if what you're trying to do, you would really like to do it on the Saturday, on the Sunday, without feeling burnout. So that's the point I wanted to make.
Okay, I think what you're saying is relatively connected to what Shunko is saying. Shunko is trying to bring your points in education together. And she's trying to say, for example, you're a businessman, right? So imagine you taking your skill, like you just say, you work Monday to Sunday. And to be honest with you, that's the best thing anyone can do to themselves. Doing what you don't feel tired doing. Or even if you're making the money, you're always beating yourself about working. Okay, that's normal. Like to get tired is normal, but it's different for you to get tired. Maybe like your body is feeling you work all the time, then working but not happy. These are two different things. So imagine what Shinko is trying to say that imagine you having a college degree in your passion. I mean,
Yeah.
that's like killing two birds with
Yeah,
one
yeah,
stone.
yeah. That's that's
Yeah,
that's actually
yeah,
that's actually a double game there. But it's actually always the problem is many people are not educated. In fact, the way parenting is done, this is something which most of our parents, all of us have been victims of because most of our parents they always love the issue of white collar jobs and they see it as
that's
the
it.
only way
That's it.
you can ever make it through life. And that's why that's one of the funniest things. That's one of the few things that are
But that's
when
not
the
the only
funniest thing
way.
is so useless now because
Mm-hmm.
many people are influenced to do things that many children are just influenced to do things that will shape them into a particular career.
Career, exactly,
Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
and that's the problem.
Okay, so let's just stop talking about this whole education stuff because it's very broad and bringing business. To me, I would always say business over university. I don't know, but yeah, if I want to touch it up a little, then I could just, get the degree to back it up because I'm good at backing things up. Like right now, I'm a Chinese translator and I'm learning something else in my master's. So, by God's grace, if I bring all this experience together, like Shunko said, I might have the higher rank than maybe a bachelor's degree person. But imagine not having an experience even as a master's student. So what's the point? So education is important in one hand, your skill is important in one hand, but also experience is important no matter anything, even if you're working for somebody or you're working for yourself or people are working for you. I think experience is I don't know if it's the highest thing one should learn, even apart from learning in university, to me. Okay, so we're closing this one. Let's just come into self growth, as students, and let's just close the study aspect. This self growth, let's just ask as an example, like in China, because we've gone through a lot. Let's just be honest with ourselves. The homesickness, the losing of loved ones back home while you're still here, even if not everybody, but that's sometimes hit a lot of people, and it's a big deal. Or the acts of saying a lot of goodbyes. You guys know what I'm talking about. Like
Yeah, yeah.
you start up with
Definitely.
People are always
someone.
leaving.
Yeah, you start
Yeah.
off with someone today, in the next 1 year the person is gone, you have to start all over again. Or even, relationships, friendships, communications, and in fact anything, and cultural shocks and all of that. So how do we still survive this as students, and
Mindset.
how do we get motivated to, groom ourselves and stay intact, not stay intact, to actually what's the word, learn and advance, like year to year as a student.
Learn and improve yourself.
Thank you, that's the word.
Yeah.
I'm not a motivational speaker, so if I had done this podcast alone, I might just say it in my own perspective, because to be honest with you guys, I would say that I'm still growing, but this was not me the last 4 years I got to try that. Like, obviously, if nothing has changed us here, I think COVID has changed me a lot. And
Yeah, exactly. That was a turning point for
yes,
many people.
yes, I just thank God it changed. I chose to be changed for good, even if it was hurtful at first, but at least it was still it's still very, very useful. I mean, so what you guys think about struggling as a student and trying to grow from it?
I think you need a mindset.
What do you
Like
mean?
a mindset that helps you grow. Like when you face difficulties, um, you're gonna have a good mindset that helps you grow, not bring you down. Yeah,
Can
that's
you
what I
can you
think. That's
can
the
you
most
can you
important thing. Yeah.
explain that? Like, I mean, mindset. We all have mindsets, okay? So how do we
Yeah.
put that in place? Because I have a mindset to just end this podcast and go eat my dinner right now. But I cannot do that because I'm disciplined to have this podcast till the end, right? So
Yeah.
when we face these things that because they say you can never grow until you die once. Okay, there's a story, there's a word like that. So you can never grow
Really?
from something.
I
Yeah,
will Google. I will Google it right now.
you can never grow until you die once. That means you can never grow from something until you experience something in that field that makes you want to grow. Imagine you eating a lot of rice every day. You eat rice. But one day you just hear that, oh my gosh, a lot of rice can make you fat or can do something in your body. You take a break, right? So a lot of experiences can maybe break us or groom us. So what do you mean in that aspect, Shunko? You said mindset, mindset, mindset. How do we activate this mindset of yours you're talking about?
I wouldn't use the word activate, but I would use the word. You're gonna have to discover the mindset
Mm,
by just like Hold on 1 minute. It's okay.
okay.
So like you go through life, right? And then I'm sorry, I'm at home. People.
It's okay. Do your
Um.
thing, man.
So like as you go through life, you face difficulties, and then instead of letting this is just like a short explanation. Like this is what I can think of right now. Um. So when you face a difficulty, you should use it to grow. You shouldn't use it to drag yourself down. You know. Can you relate? I think you can relate.
I can relate. I can relate, but
Yeah, yeah. So
what
this
about
is how I
people
wanna
watch?
start.
Yeah, people watching this, or probably me in some aspect, because I don't know all. I'm still here to learn.
Yeah,
Okay.
I will get to that.
Okay.
And then the next point is okay. So for example, instead of like, for example, you had to write an essay, and
Mhm.
then you wrote the essay, you gave it to the professor, and the professor said, it's not good enough, and then you forgot A B C D E F G. If you had a bad mindset, if you had this thing, if you had a mindset that would drag yourself down, you would think to yourself, "Oh my God, I'm so bad. That's why she said I'm horrible. I made so many mistakes.
Mhm.
I'm not good at this." But if you have a growth mindset, you're gonna tell yourself, "Oh, okay, I have to fix this. Like I can learn from this experience. That's the difference." This is just an example.
Okay, I get it.
Next,
I
the
get it.
next thing I want to say is because this really happened to me, so I'm also speaking from a personal from a personal perspective.
Mhm.
The next thing I want to say is you need your own foundation. You need your own like boundaries or set of rules. You know,
Mm.
um, I can like I don't think this will work for everybody, but it's just like a set of rules for yourself. Like I will be disciplined. I want to work on this project. I will be disciplined. Then you just do it. I think I'm not explaining it well enough, but I'm trying my best.
I think I'm getting what you're trying to say actually.
Yeah,
Like
that you have to
try
have
to
your
have
own foundation. You have to
a
have your own
principles.
opinion about things.
Okay.
Just because my friend said something about this subject doesn't mean I should um believe her instantly. Like I need to have my own opinion. That's
Mm.
that's what I call having your own foundation. Or
Okay.
even if you're presented with some opinions or facts or like some information from the internet, you can't just read and then believe it. You have to verify, right?
Okay.
So yeah, you have to. This is what I call having a foundation.
Okay. Thank you. All right.
Do
Thank
you
you.
get it? Do you
Yeah.
have
I
questions?
think for now I don't have a question because I'm trying to
Hi,
understand.
Daddy. Do you have questions?
I actually understand.
Yes, I totally
I
understand
actually
I
what
was
you're
about to
understand.
call you Daddy,
What?
but I'm like, oh, Harry, Daddy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I actually understand where you're coming from about mindset. And actually, it's a very good point, and it's the fundamental thing everybody needs in life. Because as Janet was saying, many people like we all go through lots of tough times, and
Mm-hmm.
the very first thing you have to understand is there are two types of things that can happen to you in this life.
In this lockdown.
The first one is the things that you can control, and the second ones are the ones you can't control.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, so you have to. I know it's always very tempting that maybe if you lose a loved one, you start feeling bad, you start asking all kind of questions like, why is all this happening to
To
me?
me, exactly.
Or maybe when COVID hit, a lot of people were like, oh, why this happening to me and all that. You have to understand, and in terms of life, when something happens to you, you have to ask yourself, is this something I can control? And even if it's not something you can't control, what are the elements in it that you can control? And that's what you should be focusing on. Because if you keep focusing on things that you actually have no little or no control about, it's just going to drain you of energy, and at the end of it, you still have nothing to do about. Nobody has ever done anything, maybe worrying. But it's really unfortunate because society is built to help us worry. Like let's take the example of you losing somebody,
Mm,
like
mm,
you losing a loved one.
mm.
If you have a strong mindset to say, okay, I lost my mom, I lost this kind of person, I can't control it, I can't actually do it. And you try to play a little bit of talk, people will be like, oh, no, you don't care about your mom, you don't care about this. But internally, all you're trying to do is, there's nothing I can actually do
There's
about it.
nothing I can
Maybe
do,
only
exactly.
thing I can do is wasted. But society is kind of uh, built up to make you feel weak because, and
Hmm.
that's why many people, even when you lose somebody, even if you try to have a strong mindset, you try to be, if you want people to actually be sympathetic with you, you have to play weak. You have to show that no, it's so touching for me. Maybe you have to cry for the
I
mom.
think it's a bad
And
idea to
people
play
come
weak,
back and
but
say
no.
sorry, sorry, sorry. But if actually on the other side, you have a strong mindset to say, oh, these are things I cannot control. Uh, Instead, that's what should be applauded. But people, society will rather turn around and say, oh, you don't care, you're heartless. So that's actually why we always say you have to always guard yourself jealously against the society because it's
Hmm.
built to make you feel. Most of the people around you are like internally, they are programmed to make you feel, but they don't know. You understand?
Hmm. Hmm.
So you just have to guard yourself against all these kind of things and take a stand that you know where it's coming from.
Guarding yourself and having a positive mindset, which is not easy. This thing you guys are saying, it sounds easy, but it's
I never
not.
said it was easy.
Yeah,
Okay, it's not easy, anyways. But let's not talk about the difficulty and how we can. I mean, the hard part of it actually. But yeah, if you guys are listening now, if anyone's listening to this and you're in this point, I think what Shunko and our daddy have just said are very very correct about guarding your heart, about not being easily moved by the society. I think that's one of it. And number two, as Junko has said, when you face something, also trying to get a mindset of probably is it what I can handle or what I should let go. Even
It's
if
a kind of like a growth mindset. Like, don't
a
play the
growth
victim. Please don't
mindset.
play the victim. Don't do this to yourself.
I don't think no, I would disagree with that. Okay, because
Oh, yeah?
I don't think I'm a very how do I I'm someone that I really respect emotions a lot. So yeah, don't play victim to maybe to life, okay? But do not also deny yourself of the hurt or how you feel when you are
yeah,
hurting at a
Oh,
particular
oh no, you
point.
accept that you
yeah.
feel pain, but you
Yes,
don't play the victim.
That is it.
that's
The point is, you see, Janet, the problem is when we're talking about this, it's not like
Yes,
you're not going
Daddy?
to feel them. Yeah, we're not saying many people always understand maybe dealing with your emotions like trying to push them away, like pushing them back. It doesn't mean you're pushing them back. It just means you accept them and you don't allow them to take control of you. You understand? When we're talking about one of the things, when we're talking about things like fear or worry, people think that if you have a strong mindset, you're not going to get worried. You're not going to be you're not going to be having fears again. It's not actually the thing. You're going to have it, but your reaction is going to be different from somebody who doesn't have that mindset. You're not going to allow it to take control of you. So that's actually the point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So even like if you feel scared or you feel scared, but you're still gonna do it anyways.
That's the point.
It doesn't stop you from not feeling scared. Like you're still.
In fact, you have to know that when you're scared of something, it's actually something you want so badly, but you're just afraid to fail in it. So that's even a more important reason why you should attack it even more. That's a different interpretation of fear from somebody who maybe has a growth mindset. From when you face fear, there are always 2 or 3 things you can do. You can either fight, you can run away, or you can just freeze and be in the same position. So when you have a growth mindset, you fight through it. It doesn't mean the fear is not going to come. The fear comes to everybody, but how you react to it is what makes a difference.
Okay, thank you guys so much. I wouldn't want this podcast to be more than 1 hour, and we're currently at 47 minutes. So we've talked about how we can tackle life here. Okay, life in general. Is it life here in China? Are we talking based on China or like generally?
Life in general.
In general, okay? Life in general. Even if you didn't meet the COVID in China, even if you've not been depressed in China, wherever you are, this is a general topic actually, and I wouldn't want to say it's just limited to people in China. If you're in this world, I think it goes to us, especially if you're a student. So we've talked about 2 main topics here, and the third one, which is probably the last one here before our time elapses, is that as students, right, how do we still understand that we have a future like ahead of us? Because when I'm talking about students, I don't mean the rich people already that are now trying to study, trying to back it up with studies. I mean the freshmen, the people that probably just graduated from secondary school and they're now thinking of going to college, and then maybe they just wanna stay in the college level, right? They don't wanna do much, especially if they're collecting, if they're still having money from their parents. What's your advice on this? Halle, Daddy, I'll go with you first because you're a family man. You have a family here, and what would you have advised your younger student self? In China, maybe would you have started a business earlier, or would you have dropped out of school and go search for hustles? What would you have advised to people like yourself then and to people right now? So maybe in just a few minutes, please.
Yeah, I actually think when we are growing up as students, we always think we have all the time in the world to figure out all the things that are going to happen in our lives. So a little bit of I'm not a fan of regretting things I've ever done. I just sometimes believe that maybe this is just the perfect time when I was supposed to do this. But if I had the opportunity earlier, I would have been investing more in myself as early as possible. There was like the younger part of me was always like, there's always life ahead. There's more time, and before you realize, in fact, sometimes you even have more opportunities when you're young than when you start getting a little bit older, and that's when you should actually take full advantage of. Especially some people are still maybe if you have the privilege that you still have parents who are protecting you, who are taking care of you. That's the real time when you can even invest more in yourself, because you can always fall back to something to protect you.
To protect you, that's
so
right.
When you grow beyond that level, you start being scared. You start having a lot of difficulties because you're scared to leap ahead, because if you fall back, you might fall back very, very badly.
Mm.
So as a younger person, I think engaging yourself more in things that build you as a person,
Mm.
in maybe engaging yourself in building more positive relationships with people,
Mm.
trying to trying to learn more and more skills and figure out. Don't only concentrate on your studies because 99% of the time now, the studies you actually do, they end up not being the main thing
You
you
face
do in
in
your
life,
life.
exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
you have to explore a lot. You have to
Mhm,
explore.
mhm,
Like between the maybe between COVID and now, there are so many things I've explored, and I've realized that there are so many of them that I actually didn't fit in, and then
mhm.
I left them. But if I had done those things maybe earlier, I would have long invested in the things that I'm interested in right now
Right
rather than
now,
wasting all the time. So the
exactly.
earlier you start studying and trying different things and knowing actually what really
Mm.
resonates with you, the better.
Thank you so much. That's a word. That's a word. That's so on point. Yes, I don't have any contribution to this one. I just directly say yes to what you said, and just we youths trying to think that we have all the time we want. I mean, we need or we think we have, and being scared of also exploring is another problem that is holding especially students behind because they're still collecting money from whomever they're collecting. They're still very convenient, they just they don't want to fail or explore, so that's another thing to think about. So we have about less than 5 minutes. Shunko, do you have like maybe a contribution? And since we are still students, what are the things you think you might want to change from now to self groom yourself, to self improve yourself, and also how did Daddy mention about um, quality relationship? That's something for another day actually. But yeah, Shunko, let's hear from you in like
I
a
think
minute, please.
I think every college student should just make the most out of college by their own definition because you know what's best for yourself.
Mhm.
You may want to do an internship or get a part-time job or explore more, explore the city, explore another city, maybe focus on your studies. So you have to decide that for yourself, but then you have to explore. That's what I want to say.
Explore in all kinds
Uh,
of way or just
yeah, like
traveling.
get the most out of your college. That's the main point.
Mm, mm. Get the most out of your college. Wow. Okay.
We don't have much time today.
Yeah, we don't have actually
Yeah.
much time because I think it's gonna cut. I just set like a 60 minutes timer. So maybe do we have any question or probably a topic? No, not a topic. We don't have time for a topic. A contribution or a conclusion or something, especially probably life as a student or an about to graduate student, maybe a PhD student, a master student, and sometimes even bachelor student.
How
Yeah.
about next time we do about the quality relationships that you
Yes,
mentioned?
yes. It's here. It's here already.
Okay.
That's like a plus
What's gonna be the
one
title?
session in November. I'll think about that. It's okay.
November.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, October. This is September. Yeah. Hallie Daddy, do you
Okay.
have any conclusion, like an advice to people younger out there, to we, the students,
Yeah, I think what Shunko really said is on point. Like the basis of life is to explore. Just try to explore as much as possible because um, it's it's very difficult to know what you actually like. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people assume it because of the few choices that have been presented with. Like sometimes you just grow up and you find so many people doing things around you, and you're just like, yeah, I like this one because you don't know other options. The more
Mm.
you explore, the more you actually know what resonates with your soul. And the moment you capture that, trust me, there's nothing that will stop you because you just do it for the rest of your life. You never find it being work anymore. So exploring and exploring is always the best.
That's right. Thank you guys so much. I think I've gotten
You're
about four
welcome.
things today. That's like exploring, guiding your heart, trying to have, sorry, what do you call it? Jim, called what mindset? A great
A growth
mindset?
mindset.
Growth mindset, yeah.
A growth mindset, okay? And also exploring. Thank you guys so much. I wish we have more time, but it's also nice for us to like limit this podcast to an hour, so it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be so long, and but yeah, we have a lot of things to talk about, but it's nice. I'm just gonna break it down, probably session one. We bring another topic next time, and also if you guys have any idea or topics you would like to talk about, then we can just fix it in one of the months. All right. I don't have a conclusion on my own. I just want to hear from you guys, because also I want to learn. I want to keep learning. I don't want to stop learning. I want to be a YouTuber. I want to be a billionaire. I want to be a podcaster. I want to be a philanthropist. I want to be everything in this world. So I want to learn from other people. Thank you so much, Ali Daddy and Shunko. Shunko, I'm waiting
No
for you to
problem.
come back actually, because we have one more session to go.
No, I bought a flight.
You bought your flight already? Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see you on the 27th of September. That's for sure.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you guys. I'm
Thank
gonna
you very
close
much.
for tonight. Thank you. God bless you guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Let me take a screenshot. Uh-oh. Okay. All right. I just stopped recording, and let me stop my live as well.